guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike, and this is a multiple horror update. There will be time codes below, so if you don't give a shit about one thing, but you do give a shit about the other, why don't you just watch them both anyway and eat your fucking supper? Just kidding, I love you, and what I'm trying to say is that do whatever you want, bounce around. First off, Scream 6. Guys, it's been a week. We've been on vacation for a week. There have been videos that have come out, but a bunch of stuff about Scream 6 has come out. We're not just going to talk Scream 6, though. We're going to talk Evil Dead Rise. We're going to talk great Friday the 13th news, and even Paranormal Activity. So I hope you guys enjoy this horror update. So starting with Scream 6, the first thing we have is a picture of Hayden Panettiere not only on set getting some makeup done, but then there's some fan pictures of her actually on the set there. It's just nice to see. She looks great. It's awesome to see. Very excited to see Hayden Panettiere and Kirby back in the Scream franchise. So that stuff fucking rules. And then also we have a new actor who's been announced for Scream 6. This comes from our buddy Critical Overlord over there. And it says that this guy, Thomas Cadreau, put This Week Was Killer, put this picture of the screen clappy thing. Now, Thomas Cadreau doesn't say anything about his part or anything like that, but we do know is that he's pretty fucking handsome. And that's important. But also, what I want to point out to you here is on this picture that he put of Scream, which is basically what Scream is without exclamation points. This is why I hate this, and I really hope they don't go with this. But you'll notice the title. Remember from a while back, someone leaked a picture of a chair, and it had these exclamation points on it, but it looked like Scream 2, looked like Scream 2 with Roman numerals. There was a 6 that you could make out of the blood in the middle there. Now, this, once again, is nothing confirming that the title is going to be Scream, but or Scream 2 or anything else, but it's officially what they're using right now. I think it's a placeholder. I think that's way too difficult to go into a movie and call it Scream, exclamation point, especially when you have two movies and a franchise already called Scream. I really hope that they don't do this. It's just going to make it super confusing. I don't like it one bit. I hope they call the movie Scream 2 or fucking Scream 6 or just anything but that, or Screams. I've just never liked Screams. There's something wrong with it. Ew, gross. But they were also using Blackmore as a placeholder, you know? I believe that, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Halloween Kills Ends clipperboards, or whatever they're called, had mob rules on them. So it definitely doesn't mean anything official, but it is a clearer look at that logo for sure. Another friend of ours, Top Girl Cassie, who's also great follow on Twitter if you're a fan of Scream, posted that they got a subscription to Variety Insight, and on that site, now I don't know if this information is updated or how legit or what's going on with it is, but they posted this picture of it, and it says that the shooting dates for Scream were going to be 7/6/2022 to 9/10/2022. Now that's interesting because the movie didn't start shooting until the movie had started shooting in June. So then that makes you look at it again. And in other countries and stuff other than the US, they actually sometimes will start with the month as the second thing. And that would make sense as the shooting date of 6/7/2022 to 10/9/2022. But I've also heard other places that they're almost done shooting. So who knows how legit this is? They could just put that up there as a placeholder as well. But it's worth pointing out. The budget's also interesting to point out that the budget was $20 to greater than $30 million. So if you're interested in what the budget to Scream was, that's some quick, neat little information that, again, it's a subscription service, Variety Insight. Thanks, Kay, for doing that. But the big part of Scream 6 I wanted to talk about is Melissa Barrera, Sam Carpenter herself, who was talking to E-Talk, and had this to say about it. She said, it's on another level. Matt and Tyler are injecting it even more with their personalities, their love for horror. I think since they did such a good job of making like a tribute to Wes in the last one, they feel like they have a little more liberty to go in the direction they want to go, and that's exciting. She also said audiences are going to get to know the characters a lot more, and it's really cool. There's more of Sam and Gale for sure, because I feel like the writers did a really good job of, now that they've seen us, now that they know us, everything kind of meshes. And that makes sense too. When they're writing a character, I wonder if they had everything about the nuance of Melissa Barrera in their mind when they were writing the movie. So when you think about, once you see the character on screen and you see what she looks like as Billy Loomis's daughter, and you see how all these new characters mesh together, I bet the second movie knows these characters so much more, and we're going to get a more interesting side of them. That's really possible. Now, you could say, hey, but most sequels suck, so that theory doesn't make any sense. And you'd be fucking right, Jim. But I'm just saying, what she's saying here does make sense. It seems like they know the characters a little bit better, and that's good to hear. But also, we all wanted a huge surprise in Scream 5. I like guys. I like rhyming, is what I'm saying. We all thought we were going to get a huge surprise. We had these crazy theories, radio science, they're so smart as writers. Ready or Not was so irreverent and funny and wild. And I think a lot of people's disappointment with Scream 5. Not me, it's my second favorite movie of the year. But I understood that disappointment. A lot of people thought we were going to get some wild, meta, crazy twist that was going to flip the franchise on its head. But instead, what they did was they made a really solid, in my opinion, and most audience reactions' opinion, a really solid Scream film that just didn't really turn anything on its head. Now, I think this sequel is the time where if you're going to do something wild with the franchise, if you're going to take a risk like Wes Craven took in the first Scream, apart from killing fucking Dewey, which was a bad risk, but if you're going to do that, sorry, I have fucking Dewey Tourette's. Every time someone mentions something like cock balls, fuck. So mad about that. Anyways, this is the time to take a big twist, and it sounds to take a big risk, and it sounds exactly like they're going to do that. So that's really exciting. I think we can get really pumped up that it's going to be something we don't expect, or at least it's going to feel like something we didn't expect, like, you know, having sex someplace uncomfortable, like the back of a Volkswagen. What movie is that from? Comment down below. I swear to God, I quote that in like every video. But anyway, that's the Scream 6 news. To me, all exciting, all good things, up, down, and around. Block out the negative energy, take in the good. Moving on, speaking of fucking great goddamn news, Evil Dead Rise. Everybody was worried about this because of the HBO Max situation, them canceling Batgirl, taking movies off, talking about all the crazy shit that's going on with HBO Max. You could spend a fucking week in a log cabin and still not have that shit figured out. Evil Dead Rise was supposed to come out on HBO Max. So then it got really scary. Everything you hear about this movie sounds so damn fucking awesome, and I cannot wait to see it. Lee Cronin, the director of this movie, I just watched last night his other movie, The Hole in the Ground, which I think I'm going to do a review for because it's very interesting. Watching this, knowing that this is going to be the director of Evil Dead, there's a lot of stuff to dig into. But amidst all the confusion, everybody's like, holy shit, what's going to happen? He tweeted the other day, don't lose the faith, which actually just scared me more because it's like, oh fuck, they are actually worried that they may axe Evil Dead Rise, because when you look at Batgirl, it's not just like, oh my god, they haven't promoted it, we don't know when it's going to come out, there's no trailer for it. All we have is Bruce Campbell and Lee Cronin basically talking about the movie and how badass it was, and everything they say about it sounds amazing. It's Evil Dead on a skyscraper, basically. It just sounds, the cast looks perfect. I love everything I've heard about Evil Dead Rise, and allegedly the test screenings were so good they were considering maybe it's going to go to a theatrical release because the test screenings went so well. This sounds like it's going to be a great movie. But then when Batgirl gets canceled, and not only are they pushing movies out and switching them around, but they're actually shelving movies for fucking life. Like the NW fucking O, Wolfpack, woo! It scares you in your pants and your crotch regions at night. But Lee Cronin actually tweeted this in response to somebody. It's coming, fear not. Whew. That is good. I was really worried that we were going to lose this movie. I don't know why. I just had a bad fucking feeling in my Ganges. You know, no offense to Batgirl, but you can take that. Just don't take my Evil Dead Rise. But another thing that was said about this, basically last week, Bruce Campbell said, basically there's no connection to any of the movies. I think it's going to be sort of like that from now on. It's all about the books now, and there are 3 of them. We found that out in Army of Darkness. These 3 books could be anywhere, so where did the book wind up now? And whose hands did it fall into, and what happens? Director Lee Cronin, who Sam handpicked, Sam Raimi, did an excellent job. He's going to be a busy boy because he knows what he's doing. He also said this. He said, we had a shit ton of input, talking about him and Sam, because that's how we wanted it. We want input. These directors, they must take our input. These guys are trying to assert themselves as well. They don't want to make cookie cutter movies, and they don't want to imitate us. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't imitate Sam. So it works out well, but I'm always very involved in the sound. I sit in the mix of the movie to make sure it's got the stuff, and I can also sneak in some of the old Evil Dead sound effects from 40 years ago. They're all digitized. Now, this is really great to hear because I think the reason they went out and got Lee Cronin, who doesn't have a lot of movies, really, like I said, like that one feature film. He has some other stuff. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. The Hole in the Ground. And I think they picked somebody who had a lot of talent but wasn't set in their ways so that they could, and normally when you're talking about movies and studios, this is kind of a bad thing, but I think when you're talking about Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and their franchise specifically, I think it was a good thing to do. It's like companies that would rather hire somebody who's never done the job before so they can train them the right way for that project, for that job, rather than hire someone who's already done it at 10 different restaurants. Or like when I try to give my kid a bath and she's like, Mommy washes my hair like this. And I'm like, well, Mom's not here. Come back over here to the water hose so I can spray the soap off your face. That makes a lot of sense to me. And this guy's really talented from what I've seen. And he sounds like he absolutely just fucking loves what he's doing making this movie. So I'm really, really excited for this. Glad that we're going to see it. Love everything that I'm hearing. And I think the sound is really important when it comes to Evil Dead. When you look at Sam Raimi movies in general, like Drag Me to Hell, That movie was the jump scares, like everything. It was one of the loudest movies I've ever experienced in a theater. Did you guys see that in a theater, and did you experience the same thing? I mean, everything seemed so much louder, and it actually scared me more. And Evil Dead, the same thing. They've got a specific sound. They've always done a good job with that. So it sounds like this will continue that way as well. So that's awesome. Evil Dead Rise fucking news. Also, there is a Paranormal Activity 8 coming out. This is through Variety and Bloody Disgusting and Wikipedia that all this news comes out, but it comes out that they're going to do this 8th Paranormal Activity movie, and Blum said about the last one, the reason he wants it to be the last film, he said, it has been enough already. That last Paranormal Activity movie was terrible, he says. Talking about Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, which personally I kind of enjoyed. I can't believe he would come out and say that based on a movie that was under his umbrella. That's really surprising that they would do that. It's a pretty goddamn honest reaction from him. But he said it's been enough already. And he said if somebody like Scott Derrickson came up to him and said, I want to do one and I have a great idea for it, maybe I will. But other than that, I'm done with him after this one. Now, Bloody Disgusting went and found on Wikipedia that there's a Paranormal Activity movie listed as Paranormal Activity The Other Side, which will feature 4 friends who move into Katie's old house, and it'll deal with the house burning down and all that shit. And it'll be set in the 90s, and, you know, and will be written by Oren Peli. I don't know, like, I honestly, I didn't mind The Last of Kin. I thought that was a pretty goddamn good movie. I think that what sucked was the ghost dimension. What was billed as, like, the final, you know, it's going to explain everything chapter. That movie blew ass. I thought The Next of Kin had some fun jump scares, some fun, kind of like Dash Cam. It was just a fun found footage movie. But I do agree it's probably time to put it away, at least for a while. But we'll see what happens with this last iteration of it. What are they going to do? There was obviously something there with reportedly The Other Side that made Blum want to do at least one more after The Last of Kin. But what did you guys think about that movie, Next of Kin? I thought it was pretty good. I guess I'll have to rewatch it, but I liked it. And speaking of new movies, the last bit of news we have today is fucking amazing news. Amazing news. Finally, we get to it. Friday the 13th is coming back. Probably. So what happened is Roy Lee, who's a producer, he was involved in that whole deal a while back in 2018 where Vertigo Entertainment and LeBron James's company and Spring Hill Entertainment were all going to try to pull Friday the 13th back. So he's always been a producer. He's always had stuff to do with this. He's produced It and Blair Witch. He's talking to the Boo Crew, and they ask him about Friday the 13th, and he says, that one is something I would love to talk about. You may be hearing something by year's end on that front, which I know it's a small thing. It's a small thing, but that is the first positive news that we've gotten on Friday the 13th in a long fucking time in a franchise that could be making millions on millions on millions that lays dormant as fuck. So maybe that's being worked out. Maybe there's some mediation we don't know about. I don't know, that speculation, but he says maybe by year's end we'll have something. So great goddamn news for Friday the 13th fans. How excited would you guys be if we had a date and we had an official thing and it was a fucking go for the first time in forever and we could feel like it wasn't going to get canceled in 5 minutes? You know, I cannot wait for that moment we can be doing actual Friday the 13th updates. Now give me some fucking Nightmare on Elm Street news, you cocksuckers. But guys, that's the movie news. I know it's a lot of shit, but that was fun to go through with you all. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Don't forget to subscribe so you get all your horror movie news and good stuff here. And also, I'm going to clip these up and put these up on TikToks as well. So if you're on TikTok, we have a TikTok. We do cool shit on there sometimes. Follow us there as well. Love your fucking faces, guys. Have an amazing goddamn day.
What are you going to do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you wanna know about the darkness?
I said, goddamn.
Goddamn you faggot!
I said, goddamn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, goddamn.